Hey everybody, welcome back to Worried to Wealthy. Today we're going to be going over just a quick dividend update of what we ended up with. I'm super excited with the growth from the year over year from last year. And then we're going to go over VNQ, which is right down here. So before I go into that, I just want to say, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so if you do need that kind of advice, go ahead and seek someone out as well. What I would say, I'd probably find someone fiduciary because that way they're not trying to sell you anything. But I do say that not only to protect myself, I say that to protect you. I do think as we go through and I talk about the top 10 holdings of VNQ, you can go do a little more research and then you'll start to know more of the holdings of what you're invested in. And so that way, I just think it's just the best for all of us. So without further ado, again, if you like this content and if you really like camper, because I don't know who doesn't like a golden retriever, but if you like both of that, please go give us a like and that thumbs up. It really helps that algorithm, and it really helps us on our way to helping out someone else on Worried to Wealthy. So, without further ado, with my shameless plug of using my golden retriever for likes, we'll go ahead and get started. Um, so as we go through, what we ended up, I think we're at 1407, $1,407. We actually ended up with $1,417.49, which if you look back, that's a little bit, just a little bit more than double than last year. If we're looking at last year, it was about $700, 685 to again $1,417. That's a little over doubling what I got last year, which is extremely exciting. That kind of which to be fair, I did get some of this from a stock that wasn't paying dividends, sold out of it, so that is increasing income from that. So it's not like I'm investing a crazy ton amount of money or anything like that. But again, yeah, that's what we're looking at. Either way, regardless, I'm just so excited to see this going up and up and up on my way to financial independence. Just a little thing about what I did. I did something that I don't usually do, but I ended up doing a little trade. What I did was I bought about 87K of VIG, and I think I made about $1,200 on it. I bought at 159 and then I sold at 162 because I also wanted to get that dividend on July 5th. So I got about $440, and then I also made $1,200 a trade. I really just want to try it out. It's called a dividend capture strategy. I think it's been proven that it doesn't work with individual stocks. When individual stocks pays a dividend, the share price drops by the same amount. But ETFs is just a mirroring of all those stocks. So it worked out in the favor. I might try it again later on. I don't know. I'm pretty much a buy and hold, but I'm waiting for VIX to um, really hit a high point. Moving forward, if you guys ever wanted to know really when a ETF or a stock is going to be paying out dividends, I would just go to Nasdaq.com and then you'll be able to see everything. Basically, all I do, I'm a visual learner, so I would just do VIG and it's already popping up. But whatever the ticker is, and then put dividend history. I've looked it up so many times, my computer knows by now. But you'd go into here and you would go ahead and I just click the first one, NASDAQ. I've been using it for a while. It's pretty accurate. It's not 100%, but I really haven't found anything that's like 100% accurate. So yeah, that's basically how you find out. I was able to look and see if you buy before the ex dividend date, and then you sell after the ex dividend date, you're still able to get that dividend. That you legally get that dividend. So it's pretty cool. Moving forward, so now what we're going to be getting into is VNQ. So VNQ is actually a pretty cool fund. What I didn't like is that I was all into stocks, and I was like, I don't really want to do a rental because the whole point of investing in dividend stocks. But then I came across VNQ, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool. What you're able to do is you're actually able to invest in real estate through the stock market because there's these public companies, and they're actually legally required by law to pay out 90% or more of their taxable profits to their shareholders in the form of dividends. One thing I will say is that they are ordinary tax at ordinary income levels. So a lot of like VIG for example, pays qualified dividends, and that gives you a bit of a tax break. But these ones are paid in ordinary, just because it's just a REIT. Honestly, I don't really know why it's just REITs are taxed in this way. I think a lot of the dividends are like return of capital, versus just a dividend. So a little complicated. Again, I don't know everything. Again, I'm just a guy on YouTube, but I do know that VNQ invests in real estate. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I was watching this YouTube video with Graham Stephan and Kevin O'Leary. I really like Kevin O'Leary. He keeps it real. And what he said was Graham, he got his start in real estate. And so it was like 80, 90% of his portfolio was in real estate. And Kevin and even Dave Ramsey even said in their interviews that, hey, man, you got to diversify out of real estate, even though these are fantastic deals. And I'm kind of taking that to heart too. So what I'll tell you is let's learn a little bit more about VNQ. So VNQ invests in real estate through the stock market, right? And so when you look at it, it's not just, single family homes, which I'll show you right down here. You are invested in that, but it's a whole bunch of different things. You have data centers, which is like, for example, Amazon has a department within its company called AWS, and you need a lot of computer power to hold and run. And again, I'm not very technical, but this is what they do, and they have to have these big buildings and air condition them, and so that's what these data centers are. Another one is like healthcare. This could be nursing homes, that kind of stuff, hospitals. And so that's pretty cool. Those aren't going away. Hotel and resorts. So anytime someone stays at a hotel, and again, they have to be a public REIT because I don't hold any private REITs, of course, but they pay through those dividends as well. Industrial, it's kind of like business to business. Multifamily, triplex, quadplex, duplexes, that kind of stuff, apartment complexes, office REITs. Every time that we go to our jobs that we don't like, if we're not remote, well, guess what? Our companies are probably paying to lease, the floor that we're on, and technically, I'm getting a little bit back from that. Moving down the chain here, some other ones is like retail, right? Strip malls, that kind of stuff, taking a hit. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're necessarily going to go anywhere. If anything, they just own the land, those repurpose it. I saw some of the strip malls are actually being turned into pickleball courts, but I thought that was really cool because I actually love pickleball. I play it all the time. Self storage, I love this. Basically, you have land, and if everyone know, a lot of people know Public Storage, that company. If not, I'll show you. But basically, someone takes their crap and their extra stuff that they can't store, and they bring it to Public Storage and say, "Hey, I'll pay you monthly just to hold this and just have this stuff sit." And I think that's one of the easiest ways to make money. Um, Going through towards the final stuff, single family. So we are investing in single family residential stuff, which I think is cool. Telecom. This is pretty cool because basically there's land and then there's basically a cell tower on it. And basically Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they pay these landowners to have the cell phone coverage because Verizon, they all want to have the best coverage. And so they have to have these cell towers up. And so Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they will pay people who own these land to lease it so that way they can put a cell tower up. The last one is timber. I really don't know anything about this, but I'm guessing it's, you own some sort of forest and you harvest the trees, and that's pretty cool. And you can see it's pretty well diversified. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to go through the top 10 so I can show you guys. Doing this with VIG. Where was I at? Oh, we got to go down to kind of give you an idea to inspire you to go through more research. One thing I will ask you guys as listeners, if anyone knows what this means, if this is just from actually the index, but like I'm not really sure what's in here. So if anyone knows this, please comment below. I would love to know. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through a lot of these companies, and I'm going to show you basically their dividend history, and I'm also going to tell you like what industry it's in, just so you kind of know if you have shares of VNQ, what you're invested in. So Prologis is number one. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'd love taking dividends. As you can tell, it's been going up and up and up for at least the last 10 years. If you wanted to know where you can see how long they've been growing their dividend. You go over to the dividend scorecard and you go down. Looks like they've been increasing it for about 9 years. Um, and we go into the summary, click on that, and we go through here. Industrial REITs, that's what they do. And they are business to business and retail online fulfillment. So it's been increasing its dividend. So that's pretty cool. The next one is American Tower. And so that's a telecom REIT. This is the one where Verizon or AT&T, they'll pay the landowner. So that way they can, spit out their coverage to the rest of America. And then we go to dividends. And then we go to dividend scorecard. Looks like they've been increasing it for 10 years. That's another solid one. That's kind of like VIG in a sense. And then dividend growth. I guess this is kind of redundant, but I just love seeing this happen. This just makes me very happy. The next one is Equinix, and looks like they've been increasing it for 7 years. Not too bad. That would fit into my DGRO portfolio. And so you can see here, we go over 10 years. It looks like it's still in a positive direction. It looks like they just have a ginormous dividend in 2015. Kind of jealous of that. That looks pretty cool. Maybe they sold some land and that's why it's really, really big. I think when you have to, by law, pay out 90% of your taxable earnings or whatever that Google search showed, it might be a little bit harder to keep that streak going because if you sell out a bunch, well, then you have to pay out a lot more. And then next year it's just regular, as regular as usual as far as business as usual. And so I could see that being harder to do. This is just me guessing. But if we go to summary here and we go to down here, looks like they are in the data centers. That's one with AWS, that kind of stuff. Next one, so is Crown Castle. Dividend growth up and to the right. Looks like they're constantly increasing it. What's the dividend scorecard say? Probably 7 or 8 years. Yep, 7 or 8 years. Good growth rate as well, 8.5%. And then we'll go into summary here. We'll scroll down. And looks like, oh, it's another telecom tower REIT. I mean, that's the thing. These things are like cash cows because, cell phones aren't going away. Warren Buffett actually said something interesting is that if someone had two cars and a cell phone, they would rather sell the second car than get rid of their cell phone. So these telecom tower REITs, they're not going anywhere, at least in my opinion. So I think that's pretty cool. Next one is public storage. If you guys don't know what this is, public storage. And basically you hopefully you know what that looks like. We can even do like, no, don't tell me where to go find one. Images. This is what they look like. So I know you guys have probably seen one. If not, you'll start to notice them now. Going to dividends, dividend growth is okay. They actually just did this and then flatlining for a while. So it's not decreasing, it's just not increasing, which we do like increasing dividends to help out with inflation, but it didn't go down. It's still generally in going up and to the right. And then obviously we can tell that they didn't grow the dividend. So it's just 1 year of growth. And this one, I don't need to go to summary. This is when they store, I like to put it this way, they like to store other people's crap. As we get into the final four here, Realty Income, people swear by this company. I've been on like Reddit subs and stuff like that, and people absolutely love this company. And to be fair, they're what I've heard is that they're very well diversified, and they are known as the monthly dividend paying company. And go down here, click on more, but they're in the retail space, but they're the monthly dividend company, and they throughout their 54-year operating history, and they've increased their dividend 120 times since 1994. So I definitely, check out these companies. We'll go to dividends here, dividend scorecard. They've been increasing. This is the biggest one, dividend growth of 26 years. And that's pretty cool, especially for getting paid monthly. And this one, if it's 26, these are all up and to the right, which we all love that here at Worried to Wealthy. The last three, Welltower. Welltower is a healthcare one. I think it's kind of funny because I thought this would be a telecom one. So this one does, I think it's like nursing homes and stuff like that. Yeah, senior housing operating. We're always going to have seniors, so that's always a good business to go into. One day I'll be there too. We go into dividends, dividend scorecard. This one is 0 years growth, and they still pay out a dividend because they're required to. But just so you can see, again, go into that dividend growth. This one actually has been trending down, so that's actually not too great. We don't like to see that as shareholders. Next one is Simon Property. You guys know it by now. This is a scroll down to get the industry. This is a retail REIT. Pretty simple. And we'll go into dividends. I don't think this one was as impressive either. Yep, 1 year. And so we look at dividend growth, see what's going on. So they were doing really, really well, and then it kind of got choppy here for a while. I like to think of it, although I do like up and to the right and no cuts. If I owned a car wash and 1 month didn't do as good, or 1 year, right? Okay, 1 year I owned a car wash, it made me 50 grand. The next year it made me 55 grand, and the next year it only made me 52 grand. Like, I'm not going to be upset. It is still paying us at the end of the day. So that's the way I like to look at it. You guys can choose to if you want. Last one out of the top 10 is Digital Realty Trust. Go down here. The industry is data center. So yeah, you guys can go read this more on your own, but it is really, really cool that you're basically just owning real estate, and then people pay these companies leases, and then we get dividends out of it. Like, I think that is so freaking cool. This one's really great, actually. 17 years of dividend growth. That's awesome. Let's see how big that is. Okay, pretty steady up and to the right. If you ever wanted to know what the typical annual payout growth is, this is basically where you get a raise year after year. There will obviously be negatives here if there is a negative on their dividend. So in general, as you can tell, like, VNQ does own companies that have cut their dividends. And it kind of shows right here. And this is why I like to own things that increase their dividends. But for me, I just don't know of any other REITs that are ETFs that I know very well. I just know Vanguard. So in the comments below, if you guys know of any REITs that are ETFs, or just REITs in general that you think I should check out, definitely put them down in the comments so everyone can see. But yeah, as you can see, when you invest in companies that don't increase their dividends every single year, you're gonna have choppiness. And so it just kind of is what it is. Until I learn more, that's what I've invested in. And again, thank you for joining Worried to Wealthy. If you did like this, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps out the channel, helps out Camper as well. She would be absolutely stoked to see you guys hit that like button and my shameless plug. So anyways, until next time, yeah, we'll be putting another video out sometime next week. And thanks again for all your guys' help. Talk to you later.